Calvin Castine at Meadowbrook in Plattsburgh, and Helen Nerksa is about to give a presentation on photo history of Plattsburgh.
Association, and I hope you'll be able to hear me, but it's okay. We're going to look at pictures also, and some things are written on the pictures, so that will help. We're talking today about Old Plattsburgh.
Oh, I love Old Plattsburgh.
I know, me too.
You know the monument on City Hall Place?
I do.
My father and my uncle put the lights in that when it first went up.
Wow.
You know, how long ago, in the 30s. That's so Plattsburgh.
So how do we define beauty in the past? And it's often I found by our buildings. And sometimes our memories of those buildings, those we will never see again, or those that have drastically changed, or those buildings that are actually, they look very much the same. A lot of buildings have changed for our own good. Certainly the older buildings did not have the insulation. They were not wheelchair accessible. And so most of the changes that took place had to happen to make us more comfortable. Plattsburgh is full, as I think of all of this. It's full of the long gone, it's full of the changed, and it's also full of those that remain the same. So we have a pretty one-third mix, I say. So fortunately, we're sometimes able to see both the past and the present in a building. And this is Frank and Agatha Lashway's wood yard and grocery on 14 Ash Street. Ash Street, as many will know, is in the French Quarter. You know where the French Quarter is in our town, where Champlain and Lafayette Street are. And this connects between a couple of those. But what I wanted to show you, what I wanted to show you is that today, this is the Lashway home. So this has been saved. It's now different, but it probably still holds the same memories for descendants when they drive by. This beautiful home was owned by Herbert Mason and on Hickman Street. And Herbert was one of Peru's Mason family. He was one son of Albert, one of his sons. And their family had a business that was the center of Peru for 100 years. And I'm suspecting that Herbert was managing the portion of the business that was run in Plattsburgh. But I wanted to show you his home because this is an example. This is what the home looks like today. And what has happened is they have kept this portico here. So this is the old one, and this is the one that's still there. So that's very nice, you know, when they can keep a home with basically the same look. This is the home, and this home hasn't actually changed much in looks either. This is the home for the friendless on Bailey Avenue, and it was an orphanage started by very respectable members of our community. There's some talk that perhaps it didn't end up as well as it should have, but it had good intentions to start with. So Bailey Avenue.
What street?
Bailey. And what's interesting, this is a map. This is a map from 1916, and you'll see these maps periodically that I have on the screen. But the interesting thing is that if the homes on the map are red, it's brick. If the homes on the map are this color, that means they're made of wood. So the homes for the friendless were made of wood. And here it is. This is today's. So it still looks fairly like it did before.
That one there looks like my great-great-great-grandmother's house. That one George over way over this side.
This, I think, this is a beautiful, beautiful building to me. It has so many ins and outs. This is the Vilas home.
Oh, yeah.
It was formally opened in March of 1890, and 1890 is an interesting date because several other things happened the same the same year, which were fabulous, I think. This was a gift from Mrs. Harriet Vilas, and initially there were 5 residents of this home. And they paid an admission fee of $200. And if they didn't like the home, it was refunded after 6 months. If the person wasn't happy there, they could get their money back. And if they liked it, though, they continued and they paid $2. This is what the newspaper said. It sounds cheap to me. $2 a week for their board. So there was also in the initial home, there were 3 people. One was the matron, the janitor, and the cook. So they expanded, obviously, but that's how this beautiful old home started. And I want to show you this because this meant that it was made out of brick. Yeah. And you know where it is. It's right on the corner of, and the City of Plattsburgh starts right there. And the physician's hospital is over there. This is another picture of the Vilas home. It still stands. If you drive by, you see there's a huge addition, and I didn't get a picture of it. There's a huge addition going next door to the home, but they're still keeping, to me, they still are keeping the look of the home.
I'm 80-something. I'm almost 90. And my grandmother's house on Johnson Avenue is still standing. 45 Johnson Avenue.
We'll go and look at that. Here's another. This is right next door. This is another physician's hospital. This is the hospital that we had, and we had the Champlain Valley Hospital. But look how small this is. I wanted to show this because today, and you can see this area right here was where the hospital went. Now, all these people must have sold their home to Minor. And I noticed on this map, and I didn't do the research, so I apologize, that there was a physician's hospital up here. I know I have a friend in the audience probably knows exactly what that hospital looks like, but the physician's hospital we're talking about went right here. So Vilas home is there, and the physician's hospital is there. But this picture is amazing because this is our hospital today. So we started out with this small little structure, very beautiful, but small. And now we have this, this is the facility that we have in Plattsburgh today. This is the normal school. We all know the normal school. This is one of the first pictures of the normal school. It opened in the fall, again, of 1890. And both men and women as professors. I was kind of surprised because usually women were not professors in 1890. And they had both men and women as students. And that pond, by the way, see that pond that's now, it was described as being 1.25 acres of water. That's a lot of water, I think. And the normal school was built by the same people that built our court building, the Brown brothers.
You don't have a mask on. I don't have a mask.
Okay. All right. Okay. In the first graduating class, there were only 3 women. And
everybody take your mask off. Hey.
None were from Plattsburgh. The second year, however, the second year the school was in session, 27 women graduated and 1 man. 7 were from Plattsburgh, 1 from Ellenburg, and 2 from Keysville, and the rest were from out of town.
Oh my God, you both almost knew my granddaughter.
That's what it looked like. That was the entrance to the normal school. Then the fire. did you know there was a fire in 1929? The school burned. And nobody was hurt. However, my aunt and uncle witnessed the fire. And listen to this story, because these are the old days when children at the age of 5 and 7 went for a couple of blocks away, and they went to the school because they had heard there was a dollhouse in that school and they wanted to see it. They smelled smoke and ran home, and that's the story from my family, but they saw that in 1929. Here's another angle of the fire. I mean, it really just, even though it was a brick building, it really finished that school. Ah, here is our beautiful school today. And I was a student there too, and I remember sitting in these classrooms right up here, looking down Court Street, and in the fall when the trees were all colored, and the school now, of course, is much larger than this building, but this is back up again, so that's good.
Wow.
And I had to show some pictures of our beautiful Hotel Champlain, but that opened in 1890 also. So through an agreement with Smith Weed and the D&H Railroad, and it became the summer White House for the President McKinley, and it had 500 rooms and 8 cottages was part of that complex. So really, 1890 was an incredible year for Plattsburgh. The Violet's home, the normal school, and the Hotel Champlain. Here's another view of the hotel. Shows how expansive, see, the hotel was.
Where was the hotel?
And sadly, though, it burned in 1910. It was wooden. And it was replaced by certainly a far more solid structure. And that structure exists today.
A hotel Champlain.
And at some point, and I had this date and I forgot to write it down, and somebody can correct me, I believe in the 1950s, it turned into a college for Jesuit priests. A Bellarmine College, and then it went, this was when it was still a hotel, but that was the new facade after it had burned down. And this is a view, actually, of the old hotel, but it was taken from the water. And when you're ever out in the water, and you look on the hill, you know, it's nice to see the structure that's up there, and I'm hoping that Clinton Community College has moved out, or will be moving out in a year or so, and so people are dreaming that it will go back to being a hotel again. Wouldn't that be something? And there were hotels in downtown Plattsburgh in the old days. The Cumberland Hotel. The Cumberland Hotel was very old, actually, and it started. Basically, I'd get there by horse, and you could, you know, stable your horse in the back and stay in the hotel in the old days. And there's another angle of the Cumberland on the corner.
Yeah.
On the corner of Court and Margaret. And this is an interesting picture. Again, this is the Cumberland, and there's our old courthouse. But this, here you can, oh, it was the old one, wait a minute. Oh yeah, I think you can see this was a trolley stop. You can see the trolley stop, so the trolley would go right by. And, but this picture is very interesting. They clearly show transitions of the time, because if you look at this, you see a car, but you also see
My father had
the horse and carriage. See, that's from the corner. Isn't that interesting? And that horse must be very calm, because those cars were pretty noisy. So that was that horse is to be commended for not.
Do they still have any cars that look like
Well,
that?
you could be my granddaughters.
I'm sorry?
Do they still have
My
any
granddaughter.
cars that look like that?
Do they still have cars somewhere in some museum? They certainly have cars that look like that.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah. Our other downtown hotel, well, there were little hotels, but I just chose the two big ones. I really think it's really too bad we don't have a hotel in downtown. I'm not politicking here, but it'd really be nice if there was a hotel in downtown Plattsburgh. But this was the Witherell Hotel,
Oh, yeah.
and as we all know, and certainly, I think that when Susan Hamlin comes back into town, I'll let everybody know because she would love to come and talk to you about this hotel. This hotel was in operation for about 100 years, and it was the place to go. Businessmen would go there for both a beer and a haircut. Maybe the haircut and stayed for a beer. I don't know. But, it was a beautiful hotel right on Margaret Street. Very nice. And there's another angle, and it grew too. It was let's see, I think it kept going up a few stories. But it was beautiful. Now, where the Cumberland is, there's a parking lot. Where the Witherell was, there's a parking lot. So that's the sad thing about those beautiful buildings. There's a song about that too. They put up a parking lot. So
Do somebody still be in that building right there?
this is a parking lot right now.
I'm talking about that red building. Is it still there?
No, it's not. It's
I
gone.
must be seeing things, because I thought, sure, I saw somebody moving.
Yeah, you thought it was a video. Oh. All right, this is the street that it's fun to talk about. It's fun to go down, and it was a major thoroughfare. It's Bridge Street, and this photo was taken after the new bridge was put in. There was an old bridge, and you'll see pieces of it because we're going to look at some old pictures. But and you can see the fresh ads on the sides of those buildings. And that was those were the murals that we had in the old days, right? Now we have beautiful, beautiful pictures on our buildings, and this is what happened then. And they used, this is, one would, okay. I keep thinking that we're so modern, we could easily put a mural like that on a building, but how they did it in those days, I don't know how they crawled up and did that, but maybe that's something else to find out.
Is that a Ginsberg store right there?
Ginsberg, that was a furniture store, yeah.
That's what I'm talking about, furniture store.
And Bridge Street was always busy. And it seemed to be the main street for parades in town. This was for the tercentennial. And it was popular for businesses that to be around on this street because they needed the water power from the Saranac River. This is a view looking east, so we're looking east over the lake from this view. And this is Bridge Street looking west. And this was when they actually opened the new bridge. This was a celebration. They opened the new stone bridge on Bridge Street. Look at the number of people. Can you imagine? I mean, there must have been significant traffic jams or somehow. How all those people got there, I do not know.
Well, they got there.
It's hard to imagine. I don't know that we've had it, although I think, no, I don't know. People are saying, the eclipse is coming, April 8th. And there's a theory out there that there will be crowds like this.
You have to
I don't
find some
know.
shades to put on to see the eclipse.
So this is today, this is on the north side of Bridge Street, and we have the co-op. And prior to that, we had the spinning wheel. I remember shopping in the spinning wheel for sure. And prior to that, was Kaplan's. And this is all the same section of Bridge Street.
Sure is.
But what I want to show you is a couple of interesting things. Okay, so this is the old bridge. And I was showing you buildings over there. But look at this building right here. This was on the corner of the bridge. And this is how it looks. You can tell the photo was taken after the McDonough Monument went up, because the McDonough Monument is in the back. So this is somewhere after 1920 or 1917, 1920. And it has this Duluth flower mural. I call them a mural, they're really ads, right on the side of that. And it looks like we thought enough of this product. It's flour. And they thought enough of it to put it on the side of the building. But by the time this photo was taken, this product didn't even exist under this name anymore. So it was no longer advertised in Plattsburgh after like 1910. So they still had this beautiful advertisement, and yet the product no longer existed. It was actually flour from Duluth, Minnesota, and they processed wheat from the Dakotas, and they were the largest producer of flour, the ad said, on the planet. And it was sold here in Plattsburgh. And so see these buildings, they no longer exist, and I'll show you why. Because there's Philion's, and so Philion's is the building that was left. That's where this was. This is Philion's, and it was painted white. So that's important to the story because, and this is the Philion's I knew with the entrance bar. So, but look at all that beautiful paint. When peeled off. So, and you can see the Duluth Flour Company lettering underneath that it appeared again. So, and this is what it looks like today. And you can see, if you really look hard, you can see that all that beautiful white paint's gone, and you can still see that the Duluth Flour Company has mark on the side of that building. This is very nice. This is where all those buildings were, the other buildings were. And it's a nice little walkway now. This is what I was, and I think, I don't know, I hope you can see it, but you can see up here, it still has the Duluth Imperial flour. So, and this is a painting I found that I had to share when we talk about flour, because this guy delivered breads, and we wonder if he used the Duluth flour. And I thought this horse, if anybody knows horses, it looks a little thin, but this guy, and it's the Dodds brothers. I don't know if they were a bakery or what, but I had to throw this picture in. It has nothing to do with buildings, but I think it's kind of cool.
I like that little skinny horse.
And a skinny horse. So we're going to then go back on, just on the east side, there were advertisings. And these advertisements, I wanted to, see, they have this is the same building right here.
Yeah, I know that place.
And so is this. But what happened is they've adjusted the roof a little bit so that there's no room for something similar to a Ginsburg at the top. So, and this is the building as it looks today. And there's nothing, but you can see.
There's nothing in the building.
And this is new, actually, because there was not a building that looked like that. But this is, again, these were advertised on the sides of buildings. They lowered the roof a little bit. And another note about the southeast side of the bridge, and you can see how it looked in the day. But today, you'll see, it's lost its third floor, but it retains some of the window arches and some of the corner design. So you can see what they kept. They kept these, the window arches, but they took off, this floor is gone. And they often did that. I'll show you a building later where that really got stripped down. Now I wanted to talk a little, there's so many buildings in Plattsburgh, but I wanted to talk a little bit about the church history. Because some of our church buildings have been around for a long time, and others are just a memory.
Don't mind me. All the church.
Now,
Yes.
do they still have church service in the Bible home?
I don't know that. I do not know that.
Unless you
It's a
have
good
two, I
question.
think they still do, because they leave. We have church over at the Meadowbrook. And when they leave there, they say they have to go to the violence home, but I never knew where it was.
But now you know what it looks like. It's very beautiful. You'll want to go there. You'll want to go and visit. So this is the Methodist Church on Oak Street, and it was built in 1886. And next to it, and I have not found, but I'm sure there's one that exists, next to it is the synagogue. Now, there are interesting pictures of this Methodist church because this one looks like, I think somebody sketched this. This is not a real picture because this should really be the synagogue's, not a projection of the Methodist church as far as my logic
They say you
goes.
got a Methodist church down at the bottom.
And then this is the Methodist church. And this was on Oak Street. It was right at the top of Clinton. So, and I remember going into this church. I remember feeling like it was very majestic because my grandparents had their own seat. So we just walked in and there was a seat there for us. And this is how it was in some of the churches where the people paid for to have a seat. We just marched down the aisle to it. And this is what it looked like inside. It was pretty spectacular, I thought.
That you was.
And then it burned. And I remember when it burned and the discussions over family dinners about whether to move the church or not. Whether to, and I, because all I remember was this gorgeous, gorgeous church, I thought I couldn't imagine that it would go anywhere else.
Did the whole church
Burned,
burn down?
and it's gone, yep, it's gone.
Where was the Methodist?
And as we know now, it moved to Beekman Street with a whole new look. And I don't remember that my grandmother had a special seat there, but I did find out, and this, I don't like to make this about me, but just so happens, my family's been around for a while, so it happens. But she was the only woman on the building committee for this church, and I was really proud of her. I thought that was really cool.
Of course.
So, I wish I had a better, there is a better picture of this, but I didn't happen to have it. This is a Catholic church, and you don't recognize where this is because City Hall sits there right now. So these buildings were all removed and now at City Hall Place. But I was talking about churches, and I didn't want to leave this church out. And there's the beautiful St. Peter's Church that's still on Cornelia Street. My information said that this was built in 1865, which is pretty spectacular. Notice the steeples on these churches. I have something to show you about that. Because most churches we see today will not have a steeple like that.
That's right.
Here's St. John's. And St. John's was built, according to my records, in 1874. And back to the steeples. Now watch this. Guess what this is? That's a steeple. And my theory is they started to take steeples off the church when they realized that this could happen. This is St. Joseph's Church in Coopersville. And its steeple fell off and landed right in its roof. And to me, that would be a good reason not to have a steeple.
That's right. Early Presbyterian church.
Yep, the early Presbyterian church. That was in that's in downtown on Brinckerhoff Street. And that sketch, this church actually, I believe, burned and was rebuilt. But this is an early sketch, but I thought this was very nice.
It's different.
And this was in our files, and it was labeled the Presbyterian Church, because the Presbyterian Church on Brinckerhoff is right there. Now, there are three things that I found interesting in this picture that had nothing to do with the Presbyterian Church. The fact was, and this car was not the focus of the pit, but it turned out to be the focus for me. There are three things. First, the car is shearing the dirty streets. See, these are all dirt, with this horse. So you can guess that the time is still around 1910, because this horse has, it could be the same horse we saw at the Cumberland, don't you think? Looks kind of, or the same one that's got the, is taking the bread wagon around. I don't know, he looks kind of familiar. But anyway, so we're still, this picture shows us that, so we figure it's taken around 1909, because there's a horse and buggy still on the street, and secondly, there's no bank. There's a bank here, right next to the Presbyterian Church on the area, and the bank is not on that street yet either. But lastly, of course, and obviously, this car. And the car is, it brags on there that it traveled from Miami to Montreal. That's over 16,000 miles. And, but my question was, what the heck is a Flanders? Well, a Flanders was a car made in Detroit, and it was made to compete with the Model T. But it never quite could, because I think the most they sold, Studebaker, the most they sold was about, I don't know, 20 or 30,000 cars, and maybe it was 20,000. And the Model Ts, they were selling about 60 or 70,000. So this poor little car never could really compete. It was brought into Plattsburgh, according to the paper, by a guy named C.J. Dale, and he brought it in. And he'd come back from New York with the franchise for this car. So maybe that's why someone took this picture, and not because of the Presbyterian Church. So here's an ad for that. And this is this dear little Flanders 20. And there was a Flanders 30, but it was more expensive. So this is a Flanders 20. And but what's interesting here is Dale left, the Clough brothers now in Peru are the agents for this car. So that was surprising to me. The Clough brothers, I don't know, you can tell me, but they sold all sorts of things. But cars, I never knew they sold cars. Now I know. So Mr. Dale left town in 1911, and so after 1911 there were no further ads for a Flanders car. So I think this is a pretty special, this might be a pretty special little photo. So back to churches, okay. So this is the First Baptist Church, and
I went there pretty good.
let's see what oops.
Oh, they have Our Lady of Victory Church.
The First Baptist Church, okay. It was built in, according to what I found, built in 1881. And we know it's on the corner of, I believe this was Court and Oak. And it burned.
It burned.
Yep.
I didn't have
And
so
you
many
can
fires
see,
in Plattsburgh.
I know, I mean, these wonderful buildings. It still had its steeple too, and and it burned. It was
So they
rebuilt. It was
they
rebuilt,
remodeled.
but I don't see it. Oh, this was after it burned again. Let me see. Do I have one of it being? No, that's the Trinity Church. No. So, but it was rebuilt.
After the fire. Mhm.
There's the early Trinity Episcopal Church with their steeple, but, and that's another one with the steeple. Oops, no steeple.
I like to see the steeple go down.
So this is gone, but this is a lovely, lovely church, and it's still with us.
We used to sing in some of those churches.
Now, there's some other great photos that I thought I'd share. The old Plattsburgh High School, the one where boys and girls had their own entrance.
Wow.
It looked like it was just painted or something.
This is the Fouquet House, and the Fouquet House is what I was going to tell you how they changed, because right now, the Fouquet House still exists on McDonough. The address is 5 McDonough, but this level and the top 2 floors are missing. So it only has, and the porches. So it really looks like a regular, pretty regular apartment building, but it was once this gorgeous, gorgeous home. It was a stagecoach stop. It was one of the earliest hotels in Plattsburgh. Here it is again. You can see it here. Look how, and it overlooked the lake and overlooked a garden. And this is where this is the D&H railroad
Oh, I
station.
know that place,
And
yeah.
so that was very, very, very good. The hotel was in existence long before the D&H station. So very convenient that it was right there for passengers. Okay, does anybody know where this is? This was, I'll show you because then you can appreciate it more. Okay, this is Dock Street that goes down to the lake. And this is where Edwards and the accounting firm that I should know because I'm going to get killed if I don't mention it. Anyway, but there's an accounting firm there. Oh my gosh. Alexander Edwards, that's it. That's it. Yeah. But look at this. So this is what, this was Cumberland Motors. So isn't that's, I mean, they thought all those cars are there, and that's what it is today.
So it still have to come with motors.
That beautiful, I think this is very cool. And it's gone. So this is the corner I wanted to show you. This is the corner of Brinkerhoff and Margaret. So, and this building, you will not find anything that remotely looks like this on the corner of Brinkerhoff and Margaret today. You'll find this, which is beautiful, but, and it's definitely, I would say, an upward from this, but there we go.
The trees come up the front of
And the
it.
trees are pretty, yeah, well, yeah, it was fall. So, this is Margaret Street, and Margaret Street, I mean, we have so many pictures of Margaret Street with parades, because there were parades up Bridge Street, parades down Margaret Street, and parades on Clinton Street. They were, you know, and everybody, there was decorations and all sorts of things. And we had a lot of this. The Nash dealership opened, and my goodness, they had this huge parade.
They have the nicest parade.
Yeah.
Wow.
This is another building that I think that we miss. The Masonic Lodge.
Is it still here?
And it was on the corner of Brinkerhoff and Oak, and right next to the Strand. And this was an amazingly beautiful building. It looks like it would never go away, you know, that's the strange thing to me when I see these things.
Did it go away?
Yes, it did. See? There's where the
What
Masonic
is that?
Lodge was. So another parking lot. We've got lots of parking lots.
It looks
And
weird.
there's our Strand Theater, which we love, you know, fortunately we still have the Strand.
Well, that's good.
Yes.
They had redid the Strand on the inside before we left.
That's right. It's beautiful on the inside and now, yeah.
Mhm.
Yep, and now it's This is a very interesting picture. I don't know if, this was, St. John's High School was behind here, but look at this beautiful, beautiful home, Lieutenant Governor Thomas Conroy's home. This is one of these beautiful old homes. And behind it was St. John's High School. Now, so today though, this is what it looks like today. So this is one of these things where you really sort of wish you'd been there. I don't remember this home myself, but I wish I'd been there to see it because it's an absolutely gorgeous piece, but it's gone. So this is the corner. This is the corner of Margaret and Bridge, and it's on the south side of the corner of it. And you can see. Look at the detail. I'm pointing the detail out on the bridge on this building over here because the only part of the detail left is there. The rest of the building has been changed. And you know, they have to make changes for a lot of reasons, you know, but sometimes, and it looks like they really tried to make this look fine, but I don't know, somehow the power of this building, the buildings look so powerful, so anyway. But those windows, probably the cold went right through them, and it was hard to keep warm. And there's no access, there's no wheelchair access to any of those floors. And this is Clinton Street. There's a lot of pictures about Clinton Street. We can do another whole sort of series on Clinton Street. Clinton was very interesting. And Clinton had
Sit on the street
parades.
and watch the parade.
Yep.
Yeah.
So. This is the Smithweed Park, and I don't think any of us have ever seen what this must have been. He used to have, he'd have lozier boats. There were a couple of lozier boats that he parked out here, and his house was across the street. And this is our Saranac River, you know. So, the Saranac River has a whole story by itself about how it developed our community and how dependent everybody was, certainly on the Saranac River. It's really one of the gifts that we had in this community, the Saranac River in Peru, and we had the Osable. So, you know, these are, and we have the Salmon River, and, you know, these rivers really brought people to our area. So this is downtown Brinkerhoff in 1930. You can tell by the cars. This bank that is there. This is the one on the corner of Marion and Brinkerhoff. And remember when a 5 and dime store? I mean,
I love
really 5 and dime? I don't know. Now we have dollar stores. No, they're up to $1.50 stores, I think, now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so, but we did have 5 and dime stores right on Market Street.
Me and a girlfriend of mine.
Oh, Merkel's.
And Merkel's, we all love Merkel's.
Yeah.
They had the elevators, you could go up in elevators, and a very attentive staff. And students made money wrapping Christmas presents
Did
at
one of those-
Christmas.
That's where my daddy bought all my clothes.
Made some money
The
doing
one of
that.
both of the elder little Merkel's passed away.
Merkel's is gone, yeah, as a store. Oh, I love this picture. It's of our beach. Now, I don't know if these cars leaked gas or oil. I mean, these cars were not as pristine as the cars that we have today. And this is how you went to the beach, I guess. You had to, you brought your car instead of your, I don't know, umbrella or your chair, I don't know. But this was our beach. And this is just one picture. There are other pictures I've seen with cars all, lined up on our beach. Oh, I had to show you this one because these are rear washers, right? This is not anything you plug in and plug and go.
They got buses.
This is a lot of work. This has been a lot of work. And apparently, Clinton County was receptive to all of these washers. So I thought this was pretty interesting.
For my times. Yeah, 1927.
Oh, yeah, okay, this is the end. This is almost the end. This is Brody's Bar and Grill. Many people met the person that they married there. I've heard. And so this was very popular, but this was very early. As you can see, it's about what, the 1948, 40, 50, something like that. So this is the Brodies in the 60s.
Oh.
So, anyway. So this is, I'm sorry I've been around too long, but I met my ex-husband right there on that little stairs, so. I'm sharing this. I didn't need to share that. Okay. So that's my photo array for you today.
It was fun today.
Yes. Yeah. So I think, let's go back. So I don't know what your favorites were, but
We used to stop at Woolworth in the afternoon. We have coffee and stuff.
this is,
Did they ever have fish in it?
you like Fishman's? Did you like that one?
Oh, yeah, I love that. I do.
There we go. Yep, that was a good one. That was a good one. Yeah. And my favorite, this is my favorite actually. Well, this has now become my favorite building. It's maybe, but maybe this one went down to number. That was a favorite too. But where are you? This one. Okay. So this used to be my number one until I saw the Conroy House, and now this is number 2. So this is beautiful.
I remember about the Conway House, maybe it wasn't there.
And I think this is very interesting. Don't you? Look at, whoops. How it's so totally changed this. Yeah. Yeah.
Where Cumberland Motor, that little funny looking house building there?
And it was very lovely, isn't it? It must have been something before that. I don't know who knows those things. But,
Plattsburgh did have a courthouse then.
so, yeah, that's. So,
Yeah.
and okay, so today, this might be my favorite, one of my favorites, but the other one is this. When I found that, I thought, oh my gosh, that poor church. And the church is still there, so church, it's not a church anymore.
St. Joseph's Church, that's the one you talked about.
Look at that. There goes this, that's a good argument for not having a steeple. I know, we laugh now, they weren't laughing, I'm sure they weren't laughing. So, thank you very much for sharing this with me.
Okay, we've been listening to Helen Nerksa from the Clinton County Historical Association, and she's been presenting photos. If you're interested in seeing these photos, you can stop into the Historical Association. They have regular hours. You can look them up on Facebook and on their website and find out when they're available for your visit. So thanks for watching Hometown Cable. This is March 12th, 2024. And we've been watching this presentation at Meadowbrook Healthcare in Plattsburgh. Thank you for watching.